This is going to be a hopefully an hour long or a little bit more digital deep dive. Some of you probably, Danny, you already heard this many times, but you can repeat, and that's always good. Um, I'm myself, as I told, working on the digital field of the recording industry, currently working for a London-based company called the State 51 Conspiracy, that is a label, a digital distributor, and also a tech company giving tech solutions for distribution for other independent labels from all around the world. My task there to managing the rights management team, focusing mainly on platforms like YouTube, Meta, and TikTok, and managing rights in this fastly changing technological environment, how the technology actually uh, creates a new possibilities and new challenges for all of us, not just for as a music professional, but definitely as a creator, as a musician, as a right holder. You have to understand a massive amount of things why you want to practically create, distribute, sell, perform, engage, grow with your audience, collect the maximum honey and the most of your revenues, connect with people in like in various programs like here in a Hemi program or otherwise other conferences and festivals and do this round and do this circle continuously, circle of creation and actually sharing your creative mind and sharing your creation and being optimally there and do this more and more frequently in order to connect with your audience. And on the way, a massive amount of various services and applications and features are there to help you to do this and to help you to actually continuously do this round circle. And I'm not even mentioning the new age, which is happening, all those massively used keywords right now, like metaverse, VR, AR, AI, blockchain, NFTs, etc., etc. We are, as creators, and all of us actually uh, uh, live in a really, really exciting and a really challenging days and era of creation, especially in the creative industry and music industry. Uh, but what the consumer wants, they do want to discover music and they have more and more possibilities, an endless stream of music. I'm not even mentioning the AI generated stuff, just what we humans are generating. There are a lot to be discovered and own your music. Hopefully, if you build up the right connection with your fans and actually persuade them and make them loyal to own anything from you, including concert tickets or merchandise or any physical products. Of course, they want to experience you and your music and your art in live environments, want to share this with their mobile phones that they are using as a part of their body and discover and helping discover to others your music. Why you want to do this: create, distribute, sell, perform, engage, grow, collect, and connect around. And these days, more and more frequently, and a little bit different way to release music and connect and build connection with your consumer fans or with your audience, hopefully your loyal friends as well. You really have to actually to create this optimal situation for yourself and do this in long term, which is a really challenging thing and difficult thing to do. But being more strategical and thinking long term and something make something sustainable, you really have to balance your creative idea and creative work and actually the business mindset and how you execute your idea and how you practically trying to reach with your creative ideas and works and create intellectual property and with your music, your audience, you need to have, or you need to have someone around you who understands uh, what's really happening right here and right now uh, within the sound recording ecosystem, and what's really happening with your songs on different platforms, DSPs, digital service providers such as YouTube Music, Spotify, Deezer, Tidal, Amazon Music, etc., etc., and how you can use these platforms and what you have to do there to optimally being there and op- optimally appear on this and manage your rights and control your rights and generating the optimal revenues. What do you have to do there? It's really, really important. It's not really working these days that I'm just an artist and I just have to write music and I don't really want to involve myself into anything else. That's probably never really happened before, or that was just a really, really lucky few who could do this. And these days, you have to balance these both. One really important thing to decide when you start to involve yourself with any kind of distribution or on deep diving into any kind of digital platforms or digital activities, who owns your sound recording rights? We are talking about sound recordings, not about the composition. Your compositions is inseparable from you as you are the author and as you are the songwriter or the lyricist. It's something that you practically own till the end of your life and until it goes to public domain after several decades. But you own those, and your inheritance will own those, hopefully. We are talking about sound recording rights. Who owns the master rights? And these days, more and more artists are keeping these sound recording rights for themselves, or they are signing to a label, a DIY, doing for an independent label, or if they are really, really uh, I wouldn't say lucky or something. If they are like really something that generating a huge hype or huge uh, attention and grow really, really fast with reach of your fans, etc., etc., they definitely will be in the eyesight of major record companies that are in our markets are not really strong anymore, but in Central and Eastern Europe, Balkan, or Baltic states, there are still some countries where major record companies have their own offices, or at least someone who are responsible or represent their catalogs or their interests on those markets. Again, who owns your sound recording rights? Is great music just enough? Okay, what is great music? Definitely something like quality, relevancy, uniqueness, what it is like targeting the right audience. So there is a lot else. These days, we have to think about probably the most important currency, authenticity, and how you keep yourself real in a world where you are a bit forced to share your life with content and or share anything uh, or you have to decide this again balance and this thin line, how you're gonna be open besides being creative and besides being someone sending out your creative ideas with your music, how transparent you are, how much you let to see for others to your audience while staying authentic. How you can stand out, what are your unique points, and how you can practically represent that with your own music or any kind of creative assets that you create. How you target your audience with your own creation in music. Is that relevant? That audience? what is the genre? Where are those people who are listening those genres? Still a zeitgeist or still a popular one? Or it's a niche genre? Where are those people and how you can find them and how you can target them? I already mentioned how actually we are shifting in this algorithmic world of Spotify, YouTube, where you have to feed the algorithm and you can't just keep yourself and keep your music brand quiet for a long time. And how it's shifting every one of us into a more frequent and more consistent and regular, a little bit long-term sustainable release strategies and release frequency. How you can see that artists are releasing more and more music more regular just in order to feed the algorithm and remind them about your musical brand and connect with your audience more frequently than just like up 2 3 years with an album. And even when they are releasing an album, or most of the artists are releasing an album, okay, there are the superstars who just like drop an album from a day to another. Oh, surprise! Or do don't do nothing. But most of us emerging artists and small artists, we are practically have to build up step by step and reach the recognition, not just by our audience, but on these digital platforms, sadly, by the algorithms as well. Attention. And all of this next to this, which is the most important part, how you practically keep yourself stay inspired because creation with music must be, should be fun. And not just creating songs, but even playing those live. There are the basic goals to be available on every online services, stores, and platforms that are relevant. Most of them are. Uh, if we are talking about content creation and social media and content sharing platforms, several of you probably not having like teenage fans who are really active on TikTok. Some of you are not really wouldn't stay authentic if they would follow TikTok challenges all the time. But anyway, to be available on relevant online services and platforms means kind of like covering most of those. Find and connect with your audience there, generating revenues with uh, all the investments you are investing, and represent yourself, hopefully on the global scene that is available these days, in front of consumers that have who have endless choices. I don't know what are the numbers because these days most of the articles are talking about how many million songs being deleted from Spotify, or how many songs being like, yeah, uh, eliminated and practically deactivated on platforms because those were there circumventing the system, uh, or just making noise and disturbing all of us. But there are endless choice, and these endless choices are personal, also giving us a total personalized environment and experience. All of these platforms are listening us, watching us, reading us, and before became like paranoid. This is the fact, and probably all realize that uh, really kind of closing us in our own bubble. How we are consuming music on different platforms, not just music, any kind of contents, and how the algorithms learning our consumption habits and contents, what we are watching, for how long we are watching those, on what gadgets we are using, how we are finding those content, etc., etc. These data are there about you as a person, as a consumer, as a user. You have you are mapped as well, but this map is there for you as well as an artist to see how your users and how those people who are connecting with you with your music practically connect with your own art and where and how and for how long. So this data is also important and practically there to you access to and check in and always, sorry, not just control it, but always check on data as well. So this personalized world is there. The last, probably the Web 2.0, it was about how these platforms were learning about us. And now actually with the AI, it's the generative AI is using this form a massive amount of information and now even giving us creative tools as well and kind of generalizing everything, but it's again a really interesting, exciting, sometimes frightening thing by technology. Once for sure, I'm not sure what what generations you are coming from, probably X or younger, and definitely some of you practically grown up with the internet and grown up with that content consumption habit that you want to keep the control and you want to consume the content without restriction on the device that is in your hand and when you want and what you want. It's really, really important to realize that a growing number of online users and consumers, content consumers are practically doesn't want to wait to find something they look for. So your content must be available on all devices and optimally in all platforms where are your audience in with 24/7 access. The business, it's kind of evidence or even like, sorry. I mean, how internet opened the borders for every one of us. That's the kind of problem that we are there all trying to find global audiences, or at least regional ones, or grow step by step, finding first the relevant markets that are probably closer to your own physical country where you are at and growing step by step and finding new audiences all around the world in this data driven world where data is there for you. As I mentioned, all these platforms are giving you back how your music perform, all the data available to profile your own demographics and your own audience. We are talking about mainly recorded music industry revenues. Here you can see the chart between 1999 and 2023. And what is the good news that we are practically over exceed the amount of revenues what last year the global recorded music industry generated. Again, 10.2 percentage increase from last year, and we are, as I mentioned, way higher than in 1999, where physical was actually more stronger. But even physical revenues are growing these days by the vinyl and by mainly by the vinyl sales. But what we can see, like 70 percentage of global record in music industry revenues coming from digital and coming from the streaming, the actually growing streaming subscribers, like 667 million these days. However, there are lots of critics and lots of fights still between right holders, between associations and Spotify and artists and streaming, how these tech companies actually having the control of music consumption but not paying enough. But at the same time, this growth gives a little hope, and hopefully later or with the following years, they reconsider and they share more. But practically, we are here right now, and we have to be aware about our rights, and we have to be aware about what is the metadata, how we can at least optimally collect everything what we have there online on different platforms and how we can collect those. So I talked about composition and I talked about sound recording. As I mentioned, the composition rights is inseparable from you as you are a composer or a lyricist. Of course, you can practically assign a part of your composition related rights to a publisher if you want a little bit more help uh, with the to reach more with your compositions, like being in singles, probably not released in sheet music or something. But publishers are mainly there to actually helping you and push your compositions in different ways. And all these composition related rights and revenues are represented and collected by your collecting society of your market. You can step out from your market and you can easily connect and sign and administrate your own composition level rights in any of uh, 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 the collecting societies. Please try not to use two in the same markets, but try to be clever. If you see yourself more popular or your music is more played in certain markets like German speaking countries or in America, so you can go there and you can practically try to find the best ways to even uh, collect, ask them to collect and sign a contract with BMI or ASCAP or Gamma in Germany. But don't try to use two or three on the same markets because that can generate a pretty big chaos. You can perform composition even in videos, and video content can be like also generate a certain rights, performer related rights, which is practically collected and represented by the performing rights organization of your market. And we go to the sound recording part, which is owned by you or by your label or by the producer in any revenue share models what you have. And hopefully and optimally, there is an association of labels in your market. Uh, there are also an umbrella association that practically helping and handling and collecting a certain amount of revenues or royalties as well. If you're into movie or video or filmmaker, mainly the production company is the right holder, and there are a filmmakers association. These are most of the markets are really weak points or gray zony situations with movie and with audiovisual contents, but hopefully it will be also optimal as on a composition side and as on sound recording side. Why I'm showing this to you in every single market where a service appears and starts to do a business. I mean, like Spotify, YouTube, Deezer, Apple, and all of these companies, before they start their business, before they start their activate their service in a certain market, they have to sit down first with the collecting societies, optimally with performing rights organizations as well, if it is relevant, but mainly with collecting societies. And they have to practically sign a contract to start their services and pay directly the composition related rights to the collecting society. So YouTube, Spotify, and all these services, let's call them DSP, digital service providers, they are directly paying to the collecting society. Depends on the markets collecting societies fees regarding the streaming service, regarding a download service, or regarding the video sharing service, or ad revenue sharing model, etc., etc. On the sound recording side, most of these companies and these tech companies, Spotify and the others, are signing contracts with digital distributors or aggregators, or there are DIY aggregators who can even sign contracts with you or start directly uh, delivering your sound recordings and generating revenues and paying those back to you as the right holder. Uh, Again, all this way a massive amount of metadata and data that helps the optimal rights management, the optimal royalty tracking, because practically uh, these data and the importance of the clearness, the traceability, and the transparency of metadata was one of the biggest challenges in the last 15 years since digital music exists, especially on the composition level side, where collecting societies are still really, let's say, in the challenge situation to handle that amount of data they receive from the tech companies, from the DSPs, and based on those data and based on those metadata, paying out to the right holder, to the right one. So it's still kind of not that optimal, but way better situation than it was like 10 years ago. But you to understand this, it's pretty important if you are an artist. The set of data that describes and gives information about other data that metadata is, music related assets we are working with or you are working with, again, sound recording, composition, film, audiovisual content, video, sheet music, lyrics, visuals, and who knows what else will come. The two groups of metadata are the referential metadata that are mainly permanent and don't change with time, except if you are selling your music or a one label selling your sound recording rights to another label, or you are changing publishers and therefore the name of the label and the name of the publisher can change. But probably you are not changing your artist name or composer name, album title, release name, track title, duration, catalog ID, the UPC code, the ISRC code, which is something that really important in the digital world, identifying a sound recording on every platforms. The format, and if you're into electronic music or EDM, BPM, the tempo, beat per minute is can be relevant metadata as well. And there are the descriptive metadata that may change the genre, the similar artist, influences, mood, location, any kind of textual data, tags, keywords, hashtags, biography, images, URLs. These are really important parts, not just of practically the rights management and royalty tracking and reporting, but the descriptive metadata in discovery, promotion, and suggested content. In a nutshell, more and more tracks are and being released, and we are not even talking about, as I just mentioned, the deleted millions of tracks, tens of millions of tracks in last week, but more and more track various types of usages. If you just think about YouTube, there are three different ways of monetization that I will show you and I will talk about later, and lesser and small amounts of royalties at the end. So it's really important to be accurate and clean and optimally registered your composition side metadata, your performers side of metadata on the chosen collecting society or performing rights organization. And if you're using distributor, then use accurate, clean, and optimally created metadata about your releases, because it's really important not losing money at the end and being actually optimal with digital distribution. In a really small nutshell, CEO and descriptive metadata, it's really important, and I would suggest to all of you to do your own keyword cloud and create practically uh, a set of words and key phrases that describe you as a music brand, your music, your releases, as you are a brand or your published content, and actually retrievability online and building up a robust online presence. It's really important. Even how you choose your artist name is important. So calling your name love or life is probably not the best way or not the most optimal situation, because they have key roles in many things besides retrievability. Many ad services are working with this search engine optimization, search engine marketing. So please use these words, collect these words that are associated with your band, and try to write as much down as you can. Even check analytics, which gives you back search terms, especially YouTube analytics give you back uh, search terms, what users are using to find you, your music, your musical brand, because they are using your artist name. But there might be even interesting uh, new search terms or new ways how they try to write down your name, and using that as well. And use these terms and use these keywords consistently in every single platform. Write this into a keyword heavy PR article, biography, short bios, social media posts, images, hashtags, tags everywhere. So, you know who owns your sound recording rights, you know metadata, and you know how retrievability is pretty important, but you want to reach all these DSPs. You use the digital music aggregator, that is a service company that manages your digital music content. It's not owning, you don't give them, you don't give them the ownership. You license to a digital service, digital music aggregator, uh, the uh, the distribution rights. So they are actually helping you to meet different technical requirements of the DSPs, of the digital music services, and they are delivering the content, and also they are collecting the revenues from there. So you agree with your agreement as you are a right holder, or your label agrees with the digital aggregator to license your content in order to give them a permission to manage your rights on different platforms, uh, converting content for those technological requirements that different platforms are asking them to do. They are managing your content, delivering the digital music services, uploading the content, the metadata, uh, even setting different permissions on policies about related rights if you practically don't own, or your publisher owns your content on different markets. So it can be like even uh, geolocated and geo-specific rights settings on YouTube, etc., etc. They all their music aggregators to help you in this. It's like disputing, reporting, and paying revenues to you as a right holder, communicating with the music services, and assisting and enabling promotional marketing activities on these platforms. So choosing an aggregator, if you have time, relevant knowledge, resource, language skills, and do it yourself attitude, and you want to even invest a little minimum, not want, you have wanted to invest and prepay for delivering your different formats to all the digital service providers, you can use those. And there are even more and various else on the market that practically without face, let's say, not all of them probably, some of them like TuneCore also have a personal consumer relationship as well. but most of these are a little bit, uh, let's say, non-personal ways to distribute music, and personal contact is really important, and I will tell you why. So there are the other part of or other group of distributors that are practically uh, working with revenue sharing models, uh, while the first group tells they giving you back the 100 percentage of the revenues, which is pretty misguiding to tell this out, the 100 percentage of the revenues. But I will tell you how you can understand this and how you should understand and consider between these two if you haven't been in a situation before, or you are already connected to a distributor, any of these on this slide. But the second group is actually bigger companies having also really personal connections with the tech companies, with the DSPs, and have label managers helping you out and even building up really strategies together. So revenue sharing, again, going back there, who owns the sound recording? And then how big is the pie and how many slices you give to the label? And if you give to a label any slice, what the label gives you back and what the labels, what sort of work or workflows and what sort of support a label can give you back for that amount of money, or you keep most of the revenues as the right holder from the sound recording side of the digital distribution. Uh, while the DIY is telling that I give you back 100 percentage of your revenues, first of all, you are investing money to those platforms first to release your music. Some of them asking a yearly fee, some of them asking just one-off fees, but you practically pre-invest. And every single, as I mentioned, every single DSPs, digital service providers, are paying the royalties, the composition level royalties of the collecting societies in every market. So deduct that and deduct also the share of the music stores. So it's even the DIY gives you back, well, after the DSPs paying their collecting societies and keeping their own shares, that is varies, but around sometimes 30, 40 percentage of the revenues generated by your music, and then comes back to the distributor and paid out to you based on your contract with the distributors. And the revenue share model, it can vary between mainly what I would say between 15 percentage and 30 percentage on the top. So again, slicing the pie too much, uh, that practically shrinking your revenues. So always check the rate of entry costs, the music stores where they are distributing, and how strong their connection and how personal their connection with these music services. You can ask, or you can just check the frequently asked questions on the DIY ones. Check the regularity and the format of the reports and the performance data that's giving you back. If they do, the conditions regarding taking down content, if it costs, because it can be surprising if a DIY don't take down your content if you want to take down it. Reliability of the distributor, yeah, it's difficult, but you have to make a little research online and searching for pros and cons. And again, direct partnership relationship, it's really important if you can have a person to talk to in any problems you can have, or helping you to build up promotion and pre-promotion regarding your digital releases. They are helping in pitching or to playlisting, or they are optimally a YouTube partner network. And mentioning just YouTube is one of a kind DSP between all of this. as being a YouTube partner, uh, there are several ways. You as an artist can be in and can start to be part of the YouTube partner program. Uh, if you have a channel that reached the threshold of 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in the last 12 months, but uh, if you are dealing with your own original music, it's better if you are practically affiliated with a distributor that is a YouTube partner company and delivering your full catalog using these distributors, and they actually handling and managing your rights and giving you back the money at the end. With this situation, if you just start to open the partner program with your channel, that can be tricky because you won't have possibility to uh, access the content ID system, the so-called content ID way of monetization. I will just tell you in the next slide what is that. And also you can lose out money on the composition level royalties because you won't be able to create optimal music assets. I don't want to be really Chinese open channel. I don't know, really complicated with this. If you are start the monetization with your channel with music, it's better if you do with a creation and a creator mindset as a YouTuber. You know what I mean. If you like probably teaching music, or you are teaching music production, or you are a critic of music, or any kind of out outside of a different perspective on music or music related content, not about your own music and your own music content, your official music videos, etc., etc. This way is okay. But if you are working with your own music, building up your own brand, it's better if you are affiliated with a distributor or you have a record label who is affiliated with a distributor and doing this, but this part is more direct, and the pie is the slice of the pie will be bigger. Here again, think why you need a record label and what the record label gives you and what you really giving out to the record labels and for how long to own your master rights and handle your master rights. Uh, in both ways, deliver your full catalog. If you are a songwriter, so you're not a performer, however, you are all bands and performers as well, besides writing your music. But if you have practically a pseudo, I don't know, songwriter pseudo, and you are want to write songs to someone else, not just to for yourself, and you want to sell your compositions in various markets, being performed by and recorded by other artists. The publishing deals and publisher and collecting societies also have access to the YouTube Partner Program and all the services and all the tools that enables them to control your rights, to distribute your rights, and monetize those. Three main ways of monetization. YouTube is managing rights of your sound recordings via YouTube Content ID. Here I'm stepping out from YouTube. This happening on Facebook, the Facebook Rights Manager. This happening, including Instagram as well. And it's happening on TikTok, the music rise, music match, TikTok music match. So content ID system, content recognition system that enables you, or on behalf of you, it enables the distributor to practically monitor every single content uploaded to these platforms and filter out those that are using your music. Okay, whatever content your music is included, your fan videos, or even a brand video, or whoever using your music on these platforms, it can be controlled and it can be filtered out and matched and policies added to, like monetize, track, or even block. We want to generate revenues, and the platforms want to generate revenues, so mainly we are monetizing it. So YouTube Content ID also recognize and identify every single user generated video using your music and add monetization policies to it. That means every single videos and every single ad placements around these videos using your music can generate revenues and generate revenues to you. So it's again, don't be frightened if you see your own channel that is like, hey, your your video is containing third party rights. It doesn't mean that YouTube wants to like poking you or wants to strike you. It's not a copyright strike, or it's not blocking in any ways your videos. It's about claiming the monetization optimally and hopefully on behalf of you, because you're us, the distributor, to find it. So in this way, even your own channel uploads are practically recognized by the content ID and monetized in this way. However, the optimal way of monetization is the channel monetization. That is the third one. But the second one is delivering art tracks to YouTube Music, collect the subscription-based revenues coming from this source via our label or the distributor. This means like YouTube Music is a streaming platform as well, started as a video sharing platform, so it wasn't really optimal for the user experience in the first years, but now they are optimizing this. I will tell you later how. But all the distributors are delivering your music to the YouTube subscription-based service called YouTube Music, and there you can see that they are generating like the art tracks, a video file actually with your with your album cover and minimal metadata, the title, the label, the artist name, etc., etc., and time to time generating like confusion in artist minds who are generating also video content for the same songs, and the art tracks is more favored by the search, etc., etc. But it's on the way to optimize this. I will tell you how. But besides content ID monetization, art track monetization, the channel monetization is the thing that also available there, three ways of revenue sources. If you are linking the channel to the so-called CMS, content management system of the distributor, if the distributor is actually covering all these three. In many DIYs are not doing it. So many DIYs just doing the content ID and the art track, but they are not doing channel monetization and leave you behind to monetize your channel as you like. But if it's better and most optimal, based on my experiences, if you practically cover all these three with one single company who is a YouTube partner company, especially if your channel reached the so-called threshold with the 4,000 hours watch time and 1,000 subscribers. However, YouTube is now experimenting to lower this threshold to 500 subscribers and less watch time. In several markets, they already done this. I hope you can follow me with this. I mentioned pitching and playlisting, which is something that is a really, really hot topic, I'm sure, in all of your uh, life, how you can practically, in this algorithmic world of services, reach more audiences. And there are various ways by different aggregators, by different platforms. It's the way how it works in Spotify, with YouTube Music. It's the way how it works with like Amazon. Uh, in many cases, if you are there with a distributor that has personal relationship with you, hopefully, if you are a proactive artist and there to, you, and you do your own thing, you have the access to all of your artist profiles in all these platforms, and proactive and motivated to reach more. You have to do it step by step and start first. Actually, uh, Spotify gives you the possibilities, so-called democratized possibilities, to pitch playlists, find playlists via the YouTube, Spotify for artist profile. and platform. So all of us practically in the same situation. However, I tell you, several distributors have a more personal connections and more personal possibilities to reach Spotify out. And if you are that artist, or if you are actually in their roster or priority list, or you have a special status with your distributor, or you are at that point of your career with your songs, etc., etc., they can push this and help you more. And they are most of the distributors do this pitching themselves. They have teams to do this on other platforms like YouTube. They are helping on Spotify, in Amazon, uh, uh, SoundCloud, and in many, many other platforms. You can have these. You can also use other DIY ways to find new audiences via playlisting, music blogs. There is one called Groover. I was lucky to work with them a year in a such incubator program like Hemi, uh, and they are pretty strong in Europe and in the French speaking countries, while Submit Hub is more like in North America. Check these services, or even you can ask people to help you to pitch on Fiverr. However, I hopefully you are motivated enough to do it by yourself, or you have a manager to do this. But check Submit Hub and check Groover, that actually helps you to reach more even genre specific blogs, playlists, labels, PR possibilities for your music, and reach your audience, genre specific audience very well. I've seen few artists practically could reach more with this and use these platforms. Not really expensive. You have to invest a bit, but it's not, let's say, unaffordable as amounts of music. So you have the digital distributor. I hope you're still following me here, not sleeping. And let me just drink. Planning the digital release and all those tools that I mentioned. It takes up to 8 weeks after an aggregator delivering content to all services. I tell you a story. Once I worked for EMI Records and Virgin Records, and I was lucky to work with my childhood heroes, the Depeche Mode, in Hungary, and doing the marketing campaigns for their albums, several of their albums. And those were back in the CD era. And I received the album half a year, even more than half a year before the release date, with all the assets like photos, like what's going to be the marketing, what's going to be the first and second single, how it works. So it was like kind of half a year time to you as a marketing manager to map out the possibilities on your market, to create practically the marketing strategy, the communication strategy, the PR strategy, finding the right partners, and reaching the, the best and the optimal situation for the release date, and for the time when the release is happening. And I would say to you, consider to do this and consider to pre-plan, not even a half year. But I see many artists are just like, okay, album is ready. Okay, let's release it. Oh, or like, okay, next week we have the date for the show, and then and they are doing this like, okay, the album release show is like the date of something. So take your time, relax. When you have all the recordings, just sit down, create as much content as you can on a various way. I will tell you a little bit later, but just sit down and pre-plan and be more strategic, and help even the distributor and yourself to find out a release date that should be planned accordingly to all services to reach the optimal thing and the situation, and how you release your songs and where. Um, Even to create like pre-save campaigns on Spotify, or as you could see, like release date is there in half a year, and most of the bands are practically releasing three, four songs and make available from the future visuals, audio-visual, textual. So you have to have a profile image, artist logo optimized for each digital music services, not being in a situation that some of the services like auto-generated from your cover, from your album cover, and you want to change it and you want to reach the distributor tomorrow to do this. You have to have the biography, all platforms, the same, also up-to-date biography, which is short. Again, use keywords, heavy stuff, sometimes just 15 words, one sentence, especially if you're an emerging artist, use this and yeah, inform the audience and your new audiences. I don't know, I'm probably old to do this, or I'm old to do any to give any kind of comments about this, but I kind of personally hate when I find a new band or a new song on Spotify, and when I go to their profile, it's just written there nothing, two funny words, or not even, but it's two irrelevant words or nothing, nothing's written there, and it's like okay, maybe it's mysterious, but when I go, I don't probably I have time and I invest my I want to a little bit find out more about this artist, not just listening the music. And I don't find anything in anywhere, so it can be really annoying or disappointing as well. But if this is the part of your I don't know creative persona or personality, go for it. But it's better if you practically again search engine optimize yourself everywhere. Audio-visual multi-formats in length, size, GIF files, short stories, live events, live streams, behind the scenes, gallery images, lyrics, and reaching the distributor to distribute your lyrics via Music Match and Lyric Find, because that can actually, you can turn into content really easily, and also more and more people are listening and watching lyrics while they are listening your music. Many distributors are collecting even voice recordings, how your name is uh, pronounced. For Alexa, Alexa, please play Freaking Disco. And then you probably, or Anna Kanilina. So I don't know, maybe I pronounced really bad. Or Alexa played Astrid Kuhn. And maybe that's not the best way to or not the right way to pronounce your name. So even the future of voice activated players needs to learn, and distributors are actually even collecting these, some of them. uh, many artist tools to control, like the Google Knowledge Panel. As I mentioned, I will give you this PDF so you can visit this uh, link and start to control what's on Google. If someone searching for you, what's it displayed, what's photos, text, and etc. etc. But you can have the YouTube official artist channel and request the upgrade to that. Facebook artist page, Instagram, Spotify for artists, Apple Music for artists, Amazon Backstage, Deezer, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, and make sure you claim all your artist profiles or ask your labels to claim your artist profiles. But you have to have access to these profiles to control your visual branding and control your textual branding. It's you just have to sit down once, probably 1 or 2 days. I see the faces more and more like, oh my God, it's not. No, please don't do this with me. I just want to play music. I'm sorry, guys. Add the relevant team if you have a team, okay? Please find the guy and add that person with the relevant admin access to this profile. But you can do that and regularly check and follow your analytics on all platforms and link and to use short URL platforms and use this and generate and link people and link viewers to all these relevant platforms and keep those links up to date, please. So don't leave like on Instagram bio a link that is already expired like two release before. So try to make it up to date, etc., etc. Um, I don't want to go now into really, really details, but go to artistspotify.com and ask and claim your profile and upload whatever they allowed you to upload their biography, create playlists, create canvases to your songs, feature content, being social media links, if you have concerts, or if you have even uh, uh, motivation to ask money, artist fundraising, use Shopify as well, and again, ask team access and full edit view. Actually, you just have to sit one time uh, to do this. Let's say the majority of the work to do this. And when you have new releases, you just have to update this visuals mainly. But at least once sit down and create the optimal presence on Spotify, on YouTube as well. As I mentioned, the official artist channels. If you remember, I told you that YouTube started as a video sharing platform, not a streaming platforms. So many artists didn't have a full channel with all their releases with videos. They just uploaded few songs, but not the complete albums. So when YouTube started to profile artists, they started to create topic channels, and then was really confusing. And then artists started to create their own channels. Now, actually, you can apply for the so-called official artist channel via your distributor or label, and then all of your artist music merged into one channel. All these topic channels, partners channels, and any third-party channels that you lost passwords of, or your drummer stole, the previous drummer stolen. No offense, drummers. The access to, so you can actually merge to one single channel where all your subscribers also merge and you can engage with them from one place. Only the OAC, the official artist channel, appears in search results, and the musical note appears next to the channel name, and two auto-generated sections practically appears on your channel display on the main display, which is list chronologically your official music videos and your official releases. It also gives you new tools to control your profiling on your channel in the YouTube Studio and the YouTube official artist channel analytics via the YouTube Studio mobile app that gives you a really extensive aggregated view, not just about the performance of your own uploaded videos, but also those videos that are using your music as user generated content that is monetized by Content ID as well. You can see even the performance of those videos that gives you hints about how actually your music in aggregated view perform on the platform. So OAC, official artist channel on YouTube, and then go for Apple Music as well and claim your profile. These are Apple giving you a little bit more limited possibility to profiling visually, but also gives you the view and the analytics of your Shazam uh, performance. How many people are practically using Shazam to find you and find your music and where they are and where they are from? So it's really, really interesting and important data, and can give you a lot as well for the future. Same on Deezer, new artist focused features. They are more and more focusing all the DSPs to give you as an artist more work. I know, but more control as well to control your profiling and your presence. Amazon as well. Please claim your artist profile everywhere and use consistent branding and metadata, biography, hashtags and tags alongside your releases, and do this actually on a certain release level. with related visual elements on whatever social platforms that you find relevant to use: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, SoundCloud. Cross promote, build bridges between these profiles, and do and start content marketing, and even think about direct to fan connections like Bandcamp, or even creating email database and reaching your fans more directly in the future. So as I told you, we have now the the releases digitally, hopefully available, backed up with the distributor and helped by them. And you have this the release frequency and the activation and the release dates as well. Now you have to practically connect with content, which is another challenge. What are the relevant platforms for your band to use? And if you use one or more, that means it's more content. And how you practically start to produce content more strategically, and how you, let's say, not feel this as a burden on your back because I just want to play music, but this is, let's say, a new game. It's not just about your music, it's about your complete messaging, audio, visually, and how you extend your playground if you are into it, using a massive amount of free tools and just jump into it, or centralizing content production around your releases. One thing is for sure, we are all kind of forced to use content to bridge our music with our fans. We have to do something visually, audio visually, textual, etc., etc. How artistic we are with this, how open we are with this, how transparent we are with this, and remember how we can keep ourselves authentic but still inspired with this. That's the challenge. Storytelling in multi-format, multi-platform may be experimenting freely available tools and thinking out of the box. So just step-by-step strategy using the relevant platforms where your target group is. Again, more profile means more time to invest, more profile means more content to produce. Setting a long-term and short-term goals. Again, speaking about release strategy and talking about probably a year view to the future, sustainability. What are the certain platforms, what you want to reach there? Even you can state them, I want to reach 500 more new fans here, or even any kind of dream goal you can set. Please dare to do that. Defining roles and tasks. Hopefully, you have someone behind you, or you have at least a manager, or if not, you have to start by yourself. Content production, who shares the content, when and how, the regularity of the activation, who build and manage paid media campaigns, and then build these profiles with consistent visual elements and connections between profiles. I'm repeating myself here. Sorry if I'm being a little bit fast. Content formats, what kind of content you would create, and I will give you hints in the next slides. What topics uh, those contents about, what format, text, image, video, short video, and then planning the paid media. I mean, if you are investing into paid advertisement, where to spend that money on advertisement. Many of the situation is happening like, okay, let's just post about our release party on Facebook. Here we have like 20 euros or 40 euros, and that's it. And hopefully, in the future, more and more artists start to, and more artists and actually marketing teams are working on a little bit on a reversed way. They start to build organic and find the focal and the relevant points to expenses and to paid money for reaching uh, uh, audiences. But if you are use paid media, which platforms are is better for you? Maybe Facebook, maybe Instagram. YouTube is not probably not the best platform for music videos or something, but it can help as well if you are YouTube heavy or your audience is on YouTube. What are your main goals with your campaigns? You want to reach more viewers. You want to sell vinyl, or you want to sell this merchandise. what ad formats you will use, and what are your targeting strategies within these platforms if you use paid media, and how to create compelling campaign creatives. And practically always listening and forming the to-dos and find the findings, and based on the findings, reviewing and fine-tuning your content strategy. I would advise to use a calendar. You can practically download these templates from anywhere internet, just to make a search like content calendar or template for content activation, and then you can use what platforms, what day, what type, and practically you can even sit down for once and pre-plan everything, and even you can automatize this. There to use automatization, schedule your content activation on every platforms that allows you to do that. And this is something which is really interesting. It's the content multiplier formula. I wouldn't say that you should give this guy to your email address, or give poor guy, but because he's like sending you a massive amount of content and emails after that. But it's pretty good um, method to product content. Now think about it. You sit down and you have probably an idea to make a music video, and then you pay the cameraman and you pay the crew, the lights and everything there for a day into a physical place. So open this up. It's not just about the music video, what you want to create as a creative idea, but if you're there with the camera, with the lights and with the crew, then create as much content as you can related to that one sound recording, or even to more songs. So then you sit down there with the camera and the crew there, and besides to creating the official music video, if that is your dream, create the interviews, create the live versions, the acoustic versions, create behind the scenes. Bless you, Astrid. Create the behind the scene content, etc., etc. So plan your video content and shoot as much as you can, and write your scripts and go into that day, or extend to do 2 days, and uh, uh, produce and record every creative formats you plan to record. Okay. And then later you can repurpose the video content even with freely available applications. Like there is, if you do an interview in English, there is rap.com that practically turns this into a written interview. Okay, so what you tell out on the video, at the end it comes out as a written interview that you can again use and reuse in even the video subtitles or long blog posts, and in PR interviews, or quote cards or anything like that. And then you can re-edit these videos and migrate these videos into smaller formats. Think about also horizontal and vertical videos as well. So if you are there to ask someone on the shooting, and practically create short videos as much as you can while you're playing, while you're behind the scene on the production day, or wherever you are. If you again think about transparency and openness, what you want to share, stay authentic. But then you can practically do this game, and when you had the old productive content, you can migrate this and you can play your Lego with that, and you can create smaller and shorter formats, and then create also visuals from it, and even from song lyrics. Spotify allows you to create with the chorus of the song, adding a picture, and that you can put the Instagram stories. So find these kind of ways how you can create easily content, relate content, and being creative using all these really available platforms and applications there. Um, Content multiplier formula. The message here: try to block to make a block and few days to product as much content as you can for later release, and like you are collecting everything for the later release, and then practically you schedule it, you can create it, and when you have it, the assets, the music, and everything, then you start the release, the pre-promotion, the post-promotion, and the release date. And if you are talking about official music videos, there are lyric, art tracks, teasers, covers, choreography, cross promotion, behind the scenes, tutorials, Google Hangouts, live stream, etc., etc. A massive amount of creative formats, or just think out of the box. You can even sit down and teach the people how you play your songs on a guitar or on the drum or on the bass, which I was watching throughout the complete COVID, how the guitarist of Deftones practically played the complete catalog in his home studio, showing all the brands that he was supported by, like amplifiers and guitars and guitar picking. So even product placements were there, etc., etc. So think out of the box. Multi-format release strategy. I will share soon with you a link to this uh, presentation. It's about this. Please go through just YouTube. I use shorts, videos, and live stream, and all the features of YouTube to practically create a pre-promotion, an actual promotion at the release date and after the release date, to keep your platform practically active and with uh, relatively minimal efforts and investments, just to using practically the features what are there and creating a multi-format approach, what I was talking about here. Like when the album announced, you probably content-wise, you sharing the teaser, a live stream announcement, and optimizing the platform, uh, the branding, etc., etc. When the single release, you probably creating the lyric video or an official music video or the behind the scenes. When the album release, you're probably creating more content to each of the songs and using shorts as well. Uh, anyway, these are just things and ideas to consider. It's not a must. It's just giving you a set of ideas and a set of creative ideas to practically represent your songs on various ways, visually, audio, visually, textual, and connect with your audience more regularly. Please read it through next. Because even just in YouTube, you have to have long term, not to keep your channel quiet. So consistency in content creation. Video contents are also revenue sources. So you create more content, you generate more revenues at the end. Knowing and just sitting down and using all the tools and features of YouTube has to create optimal presence and reach of your audiences, maximizing watch time and number of subscribers, managing your rights via content ID, channel monetization, and delivering your catalog via one single YouTube partner aggregator is the task. And of course, two-way communication with your fans all around. Two more sections and I finish, I promise. Direct customer relationship, own database. Is it important to have your own website or not? I mean, we were talking about these platforms. These platforms are not owned by you. These are owned by Google, owned by Spotify, and they are trying to monetize and yeah, trying to grow on our back, on this whole situation that you want to connect your fans and you're using the platforms to connect your fans and connect your audience, and they try to monetize this, asking money from it. And however, I now showed you how they are giving you all the control and access to, and how the distributors can help you to grow on these platforms. But these platforms are not owned by you, but your music website is actually, or your own website, even is just a landing page. And these days, even AI can create you a website. So there to have at least something which is owned by you and there and gives you the full control of whatever is happening there. It gives you even more serious, more professional uh, image. search engine optimization, opportunity for to even direct sales without giving out any money, and the possibilities of building database on this platform. I mean, email marketing. There are bands from even the 80s, and these days there are bands just fully focusing on how to create this optimally and collecting in a couple of years that 10,000s of people or even 100,000 people or just 1,000 people on the world that would be happy to give and buy from them. Check these bands like Marillion from the 80s or Amphis McKee from the States. There are like, you do like bands with strong database and strong website and D2F methods. Check those and follow their practices because there are bands that they say, I don't need Google or I don't need Spotify. They, of course, using it, but they are kind of focusing on more building up direct relationship and enable email collection and enable the viewer and the visitor to subscribe to their email lists and uh, and of course this possibility is there. Data. I already told you that data is there, all the analytic platforms of everything. You just have to have the right question, what you're curious about, to find the right report to answer the questions. And when the question is answered and you have the answer, you go inside and take actions based on those answers to understand, for example, how your content strategy is performing on different platforms, who are watching your content, listening your content, when, from where, for how long, what they are giving you back, commenting, liking, disliking, and practically you can turn this into your own advantage to plan your next steps. If you see how your previous steps worked out, how your channel worked, your videos worked, your content worked, have you reached the right audience that you expected to reach, or you just realized, oh my God, I'm famous in Venezuela or or anywhere else, and why, and try to find out why things happening here, and then use this as and put this into your advantage. And there are like Spotify Insight for artists. I know it's scary, and I'm never really been into data. And myself, I'm more a creative guy and more like a left brain guy. But it's like these days, how they are visualizing data, all these platforms, it's pretty fun and pretty easy to understand because it's just like there. They just throw it to you. You don't need to be like a massive data scientist to understand geographical data or the source of listening, the fan engagement, and all these kind of things. It's pretty obvious and relevant, especially on YouTube analytics as well. Go deep dive into it. It's really, really fun at one point. And Facebook and Meta and TikTok all gives you this. So main objectives here are the end. Understand the present and the recent changes. I hope now I updated a bit all of you, and then prepare yourself for the future steps. Understand the digital music services, at least the basics, how to build up your optimal presence, how to build up digital distribution for your releases on these platforms, understand the needs of the optimal music related metadata, and be careful and consistent with your metadata. Wherever you write down anything related to releases when you're administering in the collecting society, be really, really, really like check it for three, four times, not to do mistakes. Know how to maintain consistent web presence, be aware about the ways to find, manage, and communicate with your fans. Be clear about the effective use of relevant content, social media platforms, and any other tools. And be prepared to participate in the YouTube Partner Program, Facebook Rights Management, TikTok Music Rights, because that's also a part of our future. And actually, recent changes and recent developments are happening there a lot. And it's really important platforms to monetize your music. Watch just Taylor Swift, who after the Universal practically hold back and put down and take down all of their contents from TikTok. Taylor's putting it back last 2 days ago, creating a really confusing situations. But anyway, so these platforms and tech companies, it seems like that they're giving you out a lot of control and tools and features that you can use. I know it's Sunday time consuming. Uh, it was main. I might have been a little bit scary and scaring to share this in 1.5 hour. Sorry, please forgive me, but I hope you will. I mean, let through all this information through you and a little bit like being more strategic and find more let's say planned steps for related to your releases. Just for present, as told you, I will share this PDF to you. So there are few final tips, summarize final thoughts, what else you can do, practically created by the AI. I was like not sharing this with you. I was like writing everything what I shared here with you into an AI engine and asked the descriptive AI to make the final tips and summary. So it's like create high quality music, strong online presence, target audience, localize your content. If you see yourself big in Venezuela by a day to another and you don't know why, so you have to probably uh, do metadata in Spanish as well. Leverage social media, collaborate with local influencers, engage with streaming platforms, leverage user generated content. I mean, like fans making new content. You can put this to your own content strategy as well. Cross promote, play together, uh, tour together, collaborate with the other musicians, with other artists, dancers, filmmakers, whatever. Monitor and analyze data. Your distributor is not your record label, but it can be a really, really helpful friend and a helpful partner. Again, if they are revenue sharing model, they want to create a win-win situation. You have to be also proactive and to do your stuff and you do your thing. You can't expect anyone in the industry to do something instead of you. That's the pure fact. But hopefully all of you like super talented people and will mesmerize the label guys and people around you, and you will have teams to do this, and you can grow in this way. Shortening the food chain down, if you remember how big is the pie and how much shares you give out to who and why. Plan your release strategy, the release frequency. I mean, how often you practically release music. Online activities without offline activities are not fun and not working really well. I mean, yeah, if we were closed down again, hopefully not by some global pandemic. I don't even want to project this to any of our future because it wasn't that fun. But practically, we need to play live. We need play live music, and you have to play live well. So you have to have a great a live program as well, at least 40 minutes or an hour if you go into a showcase festival and correct fans with real time. But building relationships. Feel free to add me to on LinkedIn or anywhere you can see me or you meet me. Tap my back. I know some of you already, but I'm a really open source guy and fun to be with, I think. And I love fun with music and music related stuff. And yeah, so join online music communities, music conferences, showcase festivals, and tap the backs of the people. Okay, don't be super pushy with your stuff. Just do drinks and do small talks or whatever. It helps a lot, believe me. Watch out for support like Hemi. You are here. You made it. So try to find as much programs like this there are, and be patient and persistent to develop any kind of career, not just international but local. It takes time. However, seeing and watching these days, just in Hungary, I watched artists to become like stadium sold out selling artist in 5 years. Okay, he was a YouTuber as well. Started his career on YouTube like in a teenager. But I've seen more and more artists like shortening the time span, and they reach like huge like stadium acts in 3 years. Insane. Okay, it was like probably backed up the COVID or whatever. But anyway, it takes time and takes lots of efforts and openness and out keep yourself authentic in this world. It's pretty challenging, but I wish you to do that. And while you're finding your uniqueness and relevancy on today's music environments, markets, whatever big words, I have no more. Thank you. Hey, if you have any more questions, shoot me now.